life has always kind of like thrown some wrenches at me, and I kind of like, I haven't procrastinated. I've procrastinated on myself. I want to say 6 or 7 years into the relationship. Mm-hmm. Me going to London, she almost felt like, oh, another excuse. Now you want to go somewhere else to like.
Right.
But it's not that. It's like it literally became like I need to be a better version of myself. I need to love myself so I can love you right.
Bed. Love.
Bed.
Bed.
Love.
Beyond. Bed, love, beyond. Bed, love, beyond.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Bed Love Beyond, the podcast for the hopeful and the hater in us to discuss sex, love, and whatever's clever with like-minded people like you who are also in limbo with love.
Like us.
I'm Martini.
I am Jennifer.
And today's episode is episode 92. Will they commit or should I quit? How long is too long to move forward?
Hashtag the daily struggle.
Yeah, hashtag the daily struggle, yes. And if you have a topic you want us to explore or have any questions you want to ask, you can write to us at bedlovebeyond@gmail.com or text us at 201-862-8BED. That is 201-862-8233. And thank you for listening to us on all podcast services out there, especially Podbean. The hosting site tracks who listens in what state, country, and how people are listening to us, whether it's through their phone, iPad, Android device, or laptop. So if you're interested in thinking about doing a podcast, go to podbean.com/pbblb and check out the details. All right, so we are here with a special guest, and it's a good topic because he's here because he has an interesting story about how long he waited to move forward, but I would definitely want his opinion on it. And also I wanted to get him on here because obviously you've heard in the past couple episodes about Jennifer's concern and her issue about moving forward with her boyfriend, about how he's not necessarily moving on her timeline. And I just wanted to have just another perspective on it. I'm not necessarily saying that Jennifer's wrong, but obviously you've heard my opinion about her relationship. So, want to bring a cool friend of mine on the show, and his name is Ricardo. What's going on, Ricardo?
How's it going? Thank you for having me on here today.
Yeah, and
Welcome, Ricardo.
yes, and shout out to George from episode 66.
Yes,
George and Ricardo,
George.
you know, they're
Yes.
good friends. How
Yes,
long
sir.
have you guys known each other?
I'm gonna go with a good 6-7 years, maybe.
Okay, cool.
I'm here to get a little respect on my name.
Okay.
All right, there you go, man. There you go. What's going on, George? If you're still listening, what's good? What's
Yes,
good?
sir.
You know, yeah. So this is gonna be so I don't want to say a sequel, but I guess a continuation of an old ass episode that we did was episode 13, moving in. Do it before or after marriage, and I believe, well, obviously Jennifer was the move in before marriage, and I believe I was after. And today's topic is about moving in.
Yes, my favorite topic.
Should you do it before or after marriage?
Before.
Okay, I wasn't even done yet. Or,
Oh, sorry.
Or does it even matter?
It matters. Yeah, so this is something I felt very strongly about even before I left my parents' house.
Right.
So.
No, this is good because you can be an advocate for one side, and not necessarily that I'll be an advocate for the other, but I did find articles supporting both sides because I don't think, again, we're not experts or whatever, and especially with this topic, I believe that there is no one right answer.
I do.
But okay.
I am really about that life.
But yeah, we'll definitely get into all that stuff. But of course, you know what we got to get into. We got to get into the daily dish. So, Jennifer, is there anything going on with you?
My boyfriend finally rented his room.
Word.
The one room.
Right. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because he changed it from renting the whole place to just by room, right?
Right. He's gonna just rent the 2 rooms and then have like the other room as his storage.
Okay, so
So-
he has one room down.
He has 3 rooms.
No, but
one
room
down and then 1 to go.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Okay.
So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. So it's like a transition. Like, he hasn't moved much in yet, but, like, he's like, I'll be there. And I'm just like, okay. But I don't know. I'm not, like, getting amped about it yet because, like, I usually see him from, like, depending on, like, if he has stuff to do at his house, like, painting and stuff, I'll usually see him from, like, Wednesday to Sunday. Like, and then I'll go to his house, like, Mondays and Tuesdays if I feel like it. So, I don't know. So, like, he says he's going to be here more and all that other stuff. But, like, when I talk to him about, like, regular, like, adult cohabitational things, like, I just feel like he, like, gets nervous and, like, shuts down. And, like, I know he's, like, kind of admitted to me that he's, like, scared and he doesn't think that he's, like, good enough or whatever. Like, that he's going to fail. That's what he keeps telling me. I'm like, what do you think you're going to fail at? So, I don't know. So I try to, like, give him, like, that boost of morale and be like, it's going to be great. Like, you know, like, he's got siblings and stuff, and they kind of did things differently. Like, they might have had kids first or, you know, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we've been together for 2 years. We've built, like, a foundation. Like, you're my best friend. Like, we like just hanging out and doing dumb shit together or doing absolutely nothing together. The only thing we really argue about is the moving forward thing. I mean, I'm sure once he moves in, I'll be like, can you fucking not leave your cups all around the house?
Yeah.
Or, like, can you please put the toilet seat down because I fell in last night?
Mm-hmm.
You know, or, like, whatever. I'm sure I'll be like, like, he was looking for his pajama pants yesterday, and he was like, I left them next to the bed last time. I'm like, that's not where they belong. I put them away. That's where they'll be.
Mm.
Maybe you should start putting them there. Just a suggestion.
Well, do you stay more at his place, or do you?
No, I like that was kind of like an argument before, but like his place is like he's like in an older building, so like the heat is always like OD, or even in the summer it's always like hot in there. So like I don't sleep well other places. Like even when we're on vacation, I don't sleep well other places. Yeah. So like I don't know. I just didn't sleep well by his house, so he'd always end up coming here. But I did try like a couple times. Like honestly, probably like in our whole time dating, I only stayed by his house like over like a handful of times. Like, okay. And it wasn't because I didn't want to. I don't know. And also, like, I always felt like when we were at his house, he was always, like, doing things in his house, like, you know, cleaning or fixing something. So it's kind of like, I'm coming here and, like, you're here and I'm here, but, like, we're not really spending time together. And since we don't cohabitate together, like, when I see you, I want to spend time with you. I'm not necessarily, like, if we live together and you have shit to do, you have shit to do. I can't expect you to be, like, next to me the whole time and vice versa.
Do you guys live close to one another, though? Or?
We live, like, 35 minutes, like, 30 minutes away. So it's, like, down the parkway, and, like, when we both work, we're, like, okay, like, if I, like, go to meet him after work, like, I'm sitting in traffic to get to him, and then, like, I'm tired and I have to drive back, or he's just taking the train back from the city, and he's exhausted, and the last thing he wants to do is, like, really come here during the work week. But he's off on Thursdays and Fridays, so, like, that kind of works out for us. But then, like, on the weekends, like, he works during the week. Like, he'll work from 8 to 4. He doesn't get home till, like, 5. Yeah. So it's, like, hard. Like, our schedules are a little crazier. I mean, they're better. I guess it's better than it was because he used to work at night. So, like, he pretty much just sleep all day. But he used to have off on the week, like, one weekend day. So there'd be, like, one full day for us to do something together. And I do understand that his job, like, takes a lot out of him. And, like, the times that we are together, there's times where he has to get stuff done. Like, he has to pay the bills. He has to, like, fix the thing in the bathroom that's been sitting there all week because it's his day off and he needs to do it. Or he has to do stuff for his family. Like, I get it. I guess just the way we were managing time, like, sometimes they'd be like, can we just do something together? You know, anything. Like, watch a movie. You know, and we would make it happen. But now that we're going to be possibly living together, like, I know that's going to change. I know there's going to be days where he just goes straight to his mom's house to help her with stuff. And I'm okay with that as long as, like, you know, you're coming home and we're having dinner together and stuff like that. Like, we only got to really have dinner together on his days off. So
I think that's only one of the commitments that you have to go through in relationships. There's a lot of different commitments, and moving in, I think, is definitely that first main step. And when you guys live that far apart from one another, sometimes people are just so comfortable in their own space that sometimes, like, yeah, okay, I love my partner, this, that, and the other, but I'm so used to this, and work is right around the corner, and this, that, and the other. Am I really, you know, is it my place we're gonna make it official at? Is it her place? This, that, and the other.
So like the only problem I feel like I'm gonna have now is that I own, and if I meet somebody who owns or rents or whatever the case is, like I'm okay with the fact that if I get married, I might not live here forever.
Mm-hmm.
Or I might meet somebody who comes here and is like, yo, this place is dope. Let's just live at your place. I'd be like, thank you. I like it too. I like it if you like it.
Right.
But that's going to be like my hurdle. But like, but back then, you know, I only got an apartment with one person. Like every other apartment was like, this is my place, you're moving in. Which is why I guess I had to learn not to be like such a control freak. Like, you're messing up my shit, please stop. Like, I don't like it. Right, we kind of discussed that. Like, he owns his place and I own my place.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's like a rental thing where I could have just waited for his lease to be up and he'd be like, all right, whatever. But we kind of like came to the conclusion that I have ample parking. Mm-hmm. He has like no parking. There'd be nights where like I would sleep at his house and like I'd park in the front of his building, but then like you have to move by 11. So we'd like be driving around looking for a parking spot for my car, and then he would just be like, fuck it, let's just go to your house. Yeah. You know, like that just got to the point where it's like, okay. Like when we first started dating, he was like, I don't really know if I can come over because I don't know if I'm going to find parking. I was like, this motherfucker. I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't care about your parking. But now that I see like how bad it is, like he would have to park like a couple blocks away to like make it happen. So we just agreed that like besides the parking, like it's a lot easier here. I mean, there's a train a block from my house, there's a train a block from his house. If he lives here, he'd actually get home a little bit earlier with the train. Like, so it's gonna be an adjustment for him, and I know he's sacrificing a lot. But he's only lived with like one other person, and he said like I think it was like 10 months after they started living together, they broke up. But he was also like in his 20s, like early 30s. Yeah. Like they were dating like from 20 something to like early 30 something.
Wow.
And you know, I guess like I don't know if you're like ready for it then sometimes, you know. You don't know what's about to happen, so. Yeah. I'm trying to tell him like I've lived with people before, like I have a good idea of how this is going to go. I know you're going to get on my nerves about certain things, but I also know that there's a way to avoid them. Yeah. If I don't like the fact that your laundry's all over the floor, I can talk to you about it a couple times. But then I could just pick it up and put it away, and then maybe eventually you'll be like, oh, maybe she doesn't want that there. I mean, but at the end of the day, those things aren't trivial. You know what I mean? Like, they're not relationship-breaking things. It's other things that, like, people get upset about, and then the laundry becomes a relationship-breaking thing. So I just feel like we've built a foundation, so there's really nothing for him to be scared of. But, you know, he's kind of, like, seen his, like, family go through things, and, like, it hasn't worked out, but we don't have kids. We don't have, like, bills together right now. We're both working. Like, there's no reason in my head for it not to work. Right. Yeah. And he's like, this is gonna fail. But the other day, I pulled a little reverse psychology on him. And I was like, you know what? Don't move in. You're right, because we're probably just gonna fail. It's not gonna work. And he's like, why would you say that? And I was like, I'm just fucking with you. Like, calm down. I was like, because you say it all the time, and I'm tired of hearing it. Like, I don't want to hear that. Like, that makes me, like, think, like, holy shit. Like, are you gonna sabotage this? Or, you know, like, are you gonna self-sabotage it without you really knowing? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So... And he's like, I'm a Capricorn. That's just what we do. I'm like,
hey man, I'm a Capricorn.
Is that what you do? Do you sit there and think everything's going to be wrong?
Definitely not.
Oh, lies!
Definitely not.
I don't know. Is he a January or December Capricorn?
January.
Yeah, I'm December. I guess you gotta
get on
months
that
matter.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I guess maybe he's, because I know very little about the last relationship, but that was a long relationship, right? And I think maybe
we were together almost 2 years. Yeah.
The last one?
Yeah.
His
last. Oh,
yeah, his.
Oh yeah, it was 10 years.
Yeah. So maybe he's just
7 or 8 years, something like that.
Right. So maybe he's just stemming off of that.
That's all he has to go of, because he didn't date. Like, they dated for like 7 or 8 years, but then he hasn't dated anyone for like 7 or 8 years. Like, he had like little like, you know, internet flings, I guess, but like nothing like this.
Pretty much, he's been single for as long as he dated the
right
person. Yeah.
So he's just constantly thinking like, this isn't gonna work. Like, and I'm like, what's not working now? Like,
right.
You know.
Do you feel like he's finding excuses?
I feel like that, but like anytime I tell him like I'm good, we can let this go then. Like I don't want to, obviously, but I don't want to have to like convince you that this is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's like, no, just give me a chance. Like please, like this is like, I want this, but like he's not like super like sharing of his feelings, but he is like super affectionate all the time. So like I guess like that's like his balance. Like he shows me he loves me. Like he'll do things for me that I need done. Like that's kind of what he does. Like he helped me with the whole room and everything, like putting up TVs and stuff. Like that's how he shows. That's his love language.
Gotcha.
He
Acts of service.
Acts of service. Yeah. Like he'll joke about it, like, oh, you always got me doing shit here, and then I'll be like, don't do anything then. It's not a problem. I'll wait till my dad comes, or I'll wait till my brother comes, and he's like, no, I love doing stuff for you. So like he just like says it like to pull a leg or this and that, but that's like how he shows me that he cares, you know. Okay. And I know he's trying. Like he always says, like you have to know I'm trying, and I do know that he is, but like I keep telling him like I can't help your fear factors. Like I can't make you unafraid of something. Mm-hmm. So, and I know it's scary, and I know that there is not a possibility of failure, but you know, he's like, what if we fail? I'm like, what if we don't?
Yeah.
I was like, you know, I guess like because his brothers kind of have like a relationship where a lot of his brothers have had like failed relationships and failed marriages, so he thinks that he's just like predispositioned for it, maybe.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like, maybe you're gonna be the brother who, you know, doesn't have kids yet, but only has what everyone else doesn't have, which is like a successful relationship.
For sure. I think that men and women sometimes are influenced by friends, family.
Right.
Even if they're not even saying anything to that person, just from what you're watching and what you're seeing, like, wow, my friends are married. Or, oh, wow, my uncle's relationship didn't last, you know, this, that, and the other. Just like it all influences you, like mess with you subconsciously, you know, so... you know, I guess you kind of got to dig a little bit more into his past to really see, you know,
right,
if that is one of the reasons why he's having a hard time moving forward.
Yeah, he's kind of like underlyingly said that, you know, so I try to like tell him otherwise, you know, like we're not them,
right?
You know, we don't have to like pretend we love each other or whatever because there's a child involved, or you know, you don't have to commit to me because I'm pregnant. Like we literally just want to be with each other because we like each other. How awesome is that? You know, so I don't know. But then that gets exhausting. I have to like keep selling him on it. Yeah, like I know he loves me. That's not the idea. I'm selling him on like this is gonna be fine. So some mornings I wake up and I'm like, another ex-boyfriend got engaged today. Like I should just call it quits and
That's always
start
tough,
over.
though. That's always tough. Like, you know, living in other people's shadows is some of the worst. It's tough, and I feel like maybe women do it a little bit more than men. Like, you know, well, let me speak for myself. I guess at the end of the day, like, you know, my wife, she used to like, you know, that always bothered her. Oh, such and such got married, or oh, such and such got a kid, or oh, such and such got a house already, and like we've been together, you know, this amount of time. Like, when are we gonna do that? And I'm just like, I don't know. It's tough. It creates a lot of pressure because I think men are more. It's not that we're not spontaneous, like we're not ready for it, but like it almost feels like you have to have everything fit in the right place.
But do you know how many people don't
what?
You have to
have everything fitting?
No, you're right. You're right. No, I'm not knocking that at all. I'm just saying I think men
feel like that's the way it is.
Yeah, it's not, and it's not necessarily on our terms. It becomes a compromise after. Like women, that's why I always like the woman does kind of at the end of the day give you an ultimatum. You know, it's kind of also what happened in my relationship. You know, I'm like, you know, shit or get off the pot. And yeah, it's tough, but like it create like the more you talk about it, you're not letting it happen naturally, and that puts a pressure that shouldn't even be present inside the relationship. Like when you're always talking about like, you know, you're having a great day, you know, you're thinking about something like this, and then like she's not having a great day because she just saw on Facebook, hey, such and such got engaged, you know, or this, that, and the other. It's tough. It really does create like this pressure. You know, and I'm speaking for it definitely happened with me, and it definitely happened with other people.
I feel like that's how my boyfriend feels. Like we got home last night, and then like I saw that like another one of my friends got engaged, and I'm really happy for him. But he's totally somebody who, you would have like never seen it, because like he's been in only a couple relationships since we've been friends the past 10 years, and like I guess he finally realized, yo, this is the girl, like I got her back and I'm not fucking up this time, and he got engaged to her. And I was like, that's awesome, I'm super happy for him. But I'm like, yo, I am like legit like the last of the great Mohicans, and I've like prided myself on being like a serial monogamous person, and like I'm like, what is wrong? Like, why is this so difficult? Like my last boyfriend, when I first met him, I was like, yeah, I'll probably marry him. Like he's the marrying guy type. Like I know he's not an asshole, you know, whatever. And like it just didn't work, you know. And we kind of like realized a little too late that even though we kind of, well, he said that he wanted the same things, that when it came down to it, like since he was a little bit younger than me, I guess like he just didn't. And like since we're both kind of stubborn people, that like not wanting the things like didn't translate into like we'll work on it and meet halfway. It translated into like not a literal fist fight, but like, you know, like a butting of heads type thing, you know. So it just didn't work. Like we're great friend wise, but like relationship wise, I don't know. The order was too tall.
It's tough. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Martina? I kind of want your perspective on this.
Well, for one thing, before I forget, I'm glad, because I think this is the first time you actually said it on this podcast, that you consider your boyfriend your best friend. I don't think I've heard that before. And
really?
I feel that that's awesome. That you have reached that point.
Oh, I want to show you what I got him for Christmas. It's so cute. So
But
corny.
that's really cool. I'm happy for that. And I also believe that while you do have a point saying that, do you know how many people don't have their ducks in a row? Which is true. You know, you're never really ready. But men instinctively want to be ready. One, because they just feel that they have to, and two, they don't want you calling them out on it.
Yep.
Right.
When they're not ready.
Yep.
You know, it's like, well, that's why I can't believe we can't pay for this, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you waited for me to get this promotion, we wouldn't be in this fucking situation.
I know we're not buying Teslas next week, but I'm saying, like, I mean.
No, but I'm just saying,
we can
like,
manage the life
why.
that we have together. Like, I mean.
Because you know, some chicks, they will cut you deep so you hurt, so you feel it. Yeah. So you're just like, damn, you see, like I knew this was gonna come back like 3 years later. I
used to do that with my ex-boyfriend. I'm not gonna lie, I definitely did that a lot with my ex-boyfriend. Like I just give zero fucks because he didn't give any fucks. Like he would just say whatever.
Yeah. So you
like,
go
I think he called
tat.
me like a spoiled bitch once because I wanted to like cook dinner for his mom and not order pizza for her birthday. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, we're not going to get pizza for your mom's birthday. And he's like, that's okay for her. I'm like, that's just rude. We don't do that. Then my mom had to like explain to him culturally that we're Italian and it's just like what we do. We're like matriarchs and that's like what we like to do. Regardless. I know my boyfriend currently is a little bit more sensitive, so I keep my snarky little comments to myself. Sometimes I say like little like jokes. I'm like, oh, Geisha will be dead by the time we get married.
Yo.
Yeah. She will be. Look how old she is.
I know, but she's right here.
She knows no better. Like, and he's like, what the fuck? And like I did say to him once, like, I'd like to still get married, like, while my dad is still alive. And like that I think upset him because he was like, that's not fair to say. But I would. Like,
yeah, but that is a huge amount of pressure. You know, like But my mom, did I tell this? I'll tell it again. But my mom did this too because I remember she had to. She was making her will, and so she was putting everything in order and divvying up everything between her children, and then she was like, she was saying, it would be nice if you got married before I died. I was like, why would you say something like that? Like, why would you, like, you don't even know the amount of pressure that I already put on myself about this whole situation, and now I gotta do it before you die? Yeah. Like, come on, man. Like, that, saying stuff like that is not cool. I completely understand what you...
I know it was wrong to say, but I just wanted to get it out there.
I know.
I haven't said it again. Jeesh.
No, but I'm just saying, so I know what you mean when you say that, but if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Like, there have been people... I've been at weddings where, one of the parents was not there.
Yeah, I have to, but I mean,
I mean, it happened. Even happened at my wedding. Like my wife, she really wanted her grandfather to walk her down the aisle, and yeah, that unfortunately didn't happen. He ended up passing in July. We got married in November.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, I mean, and I always remember her talking. Oh, I want him to walk me down the aisle. Want me to walk me down the aisle. And I'm like, oh man. So as soon as it happened, luckily I proposed before any of this ever happened. But still, it's pressure is pressure. It's
Before we dive into Ricardo's story, because I do want to hear this longevity, so I can prepare myself. And I've told you that my boyfriend's kind of moving in. I'm sure by the next podcast it'll be like full blown. Or we broken up. So
stop that.
Anywho,
Jesus,
what's going on in your world? Because last time you said you were like talking to some chick, and remember the girl me and Kathy Kathy kind of like schmoed you up with.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, slide in her DMs, tell her hi.
For the record, she slid in my DM.
Goes down in the DM.
I mean, long story short, episode 33, you can go back to that. Ghosting. So she ghosted. So, which is weird because, like, just say this story. It was very weird because I was saying that her and I talking to each other was just awkward, but we were still, going through. Yeah, and we were cool. And so on, what was it? Before then, wait, what was going on? Oh, that's right. Okay, so around Thanksgiving, I was like, hey, happy Thanksgiving. Hope everything is going good. And she was visiting friends, because her family's in the West Coast, and she was having a good time, as was I. And she was saying, "Oh, how was your Thanksgiving?" I said it was great. I was hanging out with my nieces. We were playing, some video games, and we were just having fun. And it was like cool, like mini games that you can interact with and act out. And she was like, "Oh, that's cool." So I was like, to give a barometer, I was like, whenever we meet, I can come, like, I can come over and I could bring it and we could play together. Okay. And she's like, "Oh yeah, that'd be great." I was like, sweet. One, she's allowing me in her house. That's cool. Yep. And then later that week, which was Saturday, she was going out to like some like DJ competition or whatever. And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. Are they battling?" She said, "I don't know, but it's cool." And I said, "Okay." So she's like, "Oh, if she said that she couldn't go to one before earlier in the year because she was sick, but now she was going to this one." And she said, "Hey, if you find another DJ competition around, like near, like I'm totally down for that. We can go." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I was like, "Yo, this chick is really down. Yeah. All right, no problem." So later that night, because I was at work and I was bored, I was like, "Yo, how was the competition? How was the DJ competition?" Nothing. I didn't hear anything. I was like, "All right, whatever. It's 6 hours and whatever." Yeah. But then I see on her Instagram she posted video from it. I was like, "All right, cool." Sunday, nothing. Monday, nothing. Tuesday, nothing.
Wait, and weren't you guys supposed to hang out the Sunday after Thanksgiving?
Rain check. She did a rain check, but then she was like, "Oh, let's." I was like, "Okay, fine. Can we do it? Can we make up a day for yesterday?" Mm-hmm. And she's like, "I'm gonna have to get back to you on that." Mm-hmm. No problem. Nothing until to this day. Nothing. Still nothing. Wow. I was like, "Wow, what's going on?" I was like, "You know what? Here's the thing. I wasn't necessarily mad at the ghosting. I was mad because earlier in our conversation, in our initial conversation, I already gave her a way out.
Okay.
And I said, "Hey, if you don't want to do this, it's fine. You're not obligated to talk to me because
our mutual friend.
Yeah, our mutual friend hooked us up." Yeah. And she was like, "No. I want to see how you are, and I want to get to know you better. I'm just I'm more of a texter than a phone talker, because I would call her on the phone. I would always call her. Did you guys
ever talk on the phone?
Once. She's like, "I'm more of a texter instead of a caller."
Gotcha.
I'm like, "Okay, that's cool, but that was your out. You know what I'm saying? You could have totally dropped it. That's why it was so weird to me that she was so interested in doing those things and be like, hey, yeah, you could come over and play that video game, or you could come over and we can go to a DJ competition, whatever.
Okay.
So, but I haven't heard her since, and I was talking to another friend, and they were like, no, go ahead, you like text her and see what was up with her. I was like, for what? She has ample time to text me to see how I'm doing.
Yeah. Why
do I have to always initiate? If I initiate now, I'm just gonna feel like I'm like a sad puppy. Like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? You know, acknowledge me. I don't need to do that. I'd feel stupid. So,
like, were you that into her anyway?
Like I said, if you were gonna rate it 7 out, if you're gonna rate it 1 out of 10, I'd give it a 7. But I said, like, I still want to meet her, because me meeting you and just exchanging just pleasantries and all that stuff, that she could have shot up and be like, okay, like, this could have been more interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was at a thing. So, and again, if she didn't want to be down with me or whatever, that's fine. Not everybody's meant for everyone.
Right.
But I gave you the out.
True.
You should have took it.
This is very interesting. Yeah. Maybe she was kidnapped. Does she still follow you on Instagram?
Yes. So now I'm just waiting for the inevitable picture that she puts up with the person that she met at the DJ competition.
Me and DJ such and such.
For real, I'm telling you, man. I'll put money on it, yo. That she met somebody then, and then she was like, "Yo, f this dude. This dude is mad corny." Yeah. So that's what I'm waiting on.
Oh man.
But yeah,
I'm sorry. That blows.
That's whatever.
Whatever. There's more thoughts in the sea.
Yeah, I guess.
Thoughts in the sea.
But yeah.
So Ricardo is here, and Ricardo said that he took a long time to propose.
He did.
How long is a long time, Ricardo?
I guess my long time was about 8.5 years. So yeah. Yes,
all right, so let's bring it. Let's bring it back.
Okay.
How did you and your significant other meet?
We actually met at a bar, and as cliche as that sounds, it wasn't your typical bar scene. I was working for a company, and we had a mutual coworker, and she was working at the company where that mutual coworker was at, and it just happened to be like a happy hour. It was a Friday. You know, he used to work at my company. He brought his new posse, and I was there with, you know, the original crew from my job, and just happened to just spark up a regular conversation. It wasn't like, you know, some random chick at the bar like, let me go hit her up. No, everybody kind of like mutually knew each other, and it's kind of how it was. And she'll hate this, but in half hour I got her number, and because the rest is kind of history. Like,
you didn't take your time with that, though, did you, Ricardo?
No, not with the number. No, not with the number. No, not at all. It was good, but yeah, that's how I met her.
Cool.
Yeah. Then it just became coffee dates. I think even within the first week, we saw each other like 5 or 6 times. I think second or third date, I even cooked for her. You know, which is I don't know if that's too fast on a guy's end. Like, you know, I don't know what girls think about, like, oh wow, this guy wants to cook for me on like date number 3. But I did, and hey, I'm married to her now, so I guess it worked.
You still cook?
I do. I am the cooker.
All right.
I am Chef Ricardo.
That's a win for her.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
for
cool.
Sure. Yeah.
How long did it take for one of you guys to say I love you, and which one was it?
I think it was actually about a year and a half actually into the relationship.
That one of you all said I love you?
Correct. Yes.
Wow.
Damn, he beat me.
Yes. Yeah. It was definitely a year.
Wow.
A
okay.
year and some change.
Well, okay. Who said it?
I want to say it was me.
Why did it take so long?
I don't know. I mean, I guess my previous relationship, I'd gotten burned, man. It was tough, and you know, and that was my previous relationship. And then right after that relationship, I started, you know, I was really like keen on like this girl that I was actually at work with, but that ended up like, you know, it never happened.
Yeah.
So just like my heart was just like, man, forget this.
Yeah.
So when I met my wife, I'm just like, you know, like, hey, you know, let me take my time here, even though I really, really like her and like I feel something here.
Yeah.
like, let me take my time and like really feel where it's at, because my heart is also conflicted from the past, you know, and I was already older. I was already 27, 28 when this happened. So, yeah, so I don't know. It just felt right at that moment, and it finally came out, and you know, that's kind of how it happened. It just felt right at the moment. It came out, and the rest is, you know. But
before you saying "I love you," did she know that you already did?
I don't know. No, because one of her biggest complaints is that I never officially asked her to be my girlfriend. Never, right. Like legit, never. Like she even wanted me to, like, you know, like, oh, we don't have an anniversary date, you know, this, that, and the other. So I'm just like, hey,
even though it was already a year. Correct. You guys never had. I had
never asked her, never asked to be my girlfriend. So like, I think 2 years in, she's like, hey, you know what, this is ridiculous. Like, you know, she didn't say, hey, when are you gonna ask me to be your girlfriend? Your girlfriend. And I'm just like, all right. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, seriously, like we've been together 2 years. Like we see each other all the time. We hang out. You know, I know your family, you know my family. Yeah. And she's like, yeah, but it's not real. We don't have a date. I'm like, all right, let's do April 1st. And she's like, "Are you joking?" I'm like, "Hey, at the end of the day, I'm a fool for you." So, you know what I mean?
Nice.
So that's kind of how.
So how is it April 1st? Like,
yeah, I mean that's the girlfriend date that I came up with. No, joke's on you, joke's on me, whatever.
That is great.
April 1st. Yeah,
that is great.
Yeah.
All right, so how long did it take for you guys to move in with each other?
Officially move in? Wow. So I proposed to her 8.5 years ago. We moved in 8 years into the relationship. I proposed to her 8.5 years into the relationship. We moved in 8 years. So we were only living with each other 6 months. Like, we're talking about, when I mean living with each other, I'm talking about day in, day out.
I have a feeling like that's what's going to happen. And if it doesn't, I'm going to be rabid.
Yeah.
But, like, because originally I said to him, I was like, oh, if you move in, like, how long do you think it'd be before we, like, got engaged or something? Like, how long do you think you need to live with me to know? And then he was like, well, me and my ex-girlfriend got into a fight after 10 months. I was like, bitch, I ain't waiting 10 months for you to figure this shit out. So, but, like, now I think that he's, like, getting more comfortable with it. He's like, I don't know, maybe, like, 3 months, like, I'll like, know that this is good. And I'm just like...
Yeah.
Go take a seat somewhere.
What do you mean? Hey, he'll be moved in by then. Give him some space now.
I mean, space. I left him on the couch last night to sleep, and then he came upstairs and he's like, "You left me there." I was like, "I didn't. It's good night."
No, but I mean, like, don't be like, "All right, you're finally moved in. Here's your key. All right, when are you gonna propose?" Like,
he's had a key for a long time.
I just got in here. You know, I just finally moved in. Man. Give him some space.
So okay, so 8 years, but you guys live close together.
It was about like 20 minutes. Yeah, it was about 20 minutes. We weren't too far from one another.
Okay.
But like even though like we officially only moved in 8 years after being together, like I'd say a good 3 years. She was either always at my place when I used to live with my parents, and then she moved out and she was with her sister for a while, and either I was always there or she was always at my place.
I just
so I'd
think
say like maybe
it
4
matters
out of
to
7
state
days.
that there's a significant age difference between. Not necessarily between the two of you, but between me and Ricardo are about the same age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But your girlfriend's significantly younger, right?
She is 5 years younger, yeah.
Right, so her timeline is a little less pressured than
I don't know
mine.
about that. No.
Exactly, because you can hear how, like, when are we gonna do this? When are we gonna do this? Like, yo, you 27, like, calm down. You know, so it's not the age.
Yeah, because for sure.
It's just the longevity of the relationship.
My mom had me at 27.
Well, I met her at 27 when I was 27. She was 22. If it was up to her, we would have been married and probably with kid number 1 by the time she was 25 and I was 30.
Because, like, you have to understand too. Our old guest, Bridget, episode 18, 19, and 23. She was 18, 19, 29. Sorry,
not important.
She was with her ex for 7 years, and on the 7th year, she was 23, 24. So she was always like, "Oh, when are we gonna get married? When are we gonna get married?" I'm like, "Yo, you're 24. Like, calm down." Yeah. But it's not her age. It's like we've been together for 7 years.
I mean, I wanted a boyfriend at 20. I had a boyfriend at 24, but I was more like, where the club at? Not really. I mean, I don't know. I'm glad I got to like live those years like doing things.
And I think that's actually a very important thing that you're actually bringing up, because before I was with my wife, she only had really one relationship before me. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't have like, you know, all this experience. Like, she didn't go through that phase. She always tells me I took her 20s. I'm like,
like you wanted me to take them a lot earlier.
Well, you took the rest of my 20s and almost all my 30s now. So, you know, I'm like, you know, you could have said no to dinner. You know, so, but yeah, like, you know, it is what it is. But I think that also stems a lot of like, you know, of that, you know, like, all right, I don't have enough experience with other boyfriends or relationships or whatever have you. And it just creates like, all right, this guy's great. Maybe he's the one, you know, and like, I guess I had so many experiences with other girls that I'm just like, oh,
Did you live with other girls before her?
Live specifically? No.
Okay.
It was kind of that same thing.
Like my ex-boyfriend never lived with anybody besides me. So like when he got to me, like I guess he had like this like idea in his head what it was supposed to be like. But then when he realized like what it was really about, he was like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, and I wasn't even like necessarily rough on him. I mean, like, but, you know, just... It wasn't like, I'm not your mom. I'm not going to clean up after you. Like, we have to do things together. He didn't want to eat dinner with me. Like he could have gone to work earlier to come home earlier. I've said this like 1,000 times on the podcast. But he said, like, oh, you know, I'd rather, like, lay in bed in the morning and just relax than go to bed earlier and get home earlier. And I was like, well, I don't want to eat dinner at 8 o'clock at night. Like, could you just come home earlier?
Yeah.
You know, but it was, like, a problem.
It's all about compromise, man, no matter how you look at it.
It wasn't like I was asking for a lot. I was just kind of like, I'd like to eat dinner with you. I think it's an important thing that families do.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So.
That it is.
But, so you said your girlfriend was kind of like, let's do this. What made you, like, want to wait so long? Like, what were your thoughts and...
Everything. You know, she had her stuff definitely a lot more in order than I did. And that's you know, I mean that in the sense, like, you know, she finished high school, she went to college, she knew she wanted to be a teacher right away. Bam, she became a teacher, moved forward. You know, she's tenured, all this stuff. Like,
awesome.
Now, you know, me, like, life has always kind of like thrown some wrenches at me, and I kind of like, I haven't procrastinated. I've procrastinated on myself. You know what I mean? Like, I always have these visions of like what I want to do, where I wanted to be. I think everybody does. Like, you know, you want to be somewhere at a specific age, but you know, I ended up getting my bachelor's when I was older. I got my master's after. In London and all this stuff, and it's just like... In
London?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I went to London to get my master's, and it was great, and I was with her, actually, when I was getting my master's.
Did she come see you in London?
She did. She loved it. That actually
Y'all should have stayed. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that whole London thing, that was... we almost ended the relationship at that point, because I think that was like... I want to say 6 or 7 years into the relationship. Me going to London, she almost felt like, oh... another excuse. Now you want to go somewhere else to like,
right? But
it's not that. It's like it literally became like, I need to be a better version of myself. I need to love myself so I can love you right. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's the important thing for me. You know, as a man, like I really do need to be happy with myself.
That's okay.
So yeah, it really is. And sometimes I think people don't listen to that. And I think she finally noticed that. And I remember on.
A light bulb just went off in my head.
Our actual wedding day.
Nice.
On our actual wedding day, she said, "I'm glad we waited." Like, it was like one of the biggest compliments like I had. Like, after all that pressure, like, you know, this, that, and the other, like, it kind of like everything kind of just came together. You know, so, you know, kind of fast forward a little bit, and yeah, now she's pregnant. So, you know,
your first.
Yes, yeah, that I know of. Yeah. Her first for sure. No, for sure, yeah. It's definitely her first, yeah. So, you know, look, if it's not pressure...
And how long have you guys been married now?
It's just over a year now, November. So a year and like a month, basically. But what I was going to say is just if it's not pressure about, you know, let's get married or let's move in, this, that, and the other, once that happens, there's going to be another pressure no matter what.
My boyfriend has said that before.
There's always something new. Always.
Yeah.
And then right after marriage, it's like, all right, we gotta get on the baby thing. We gotta get on the baby train. I'm like, Jesus, you know, like it's always a constant. But like me as a man,
but it's not that you didn't want these things.
No, it's not that I didn't want these things. It's just like I think men just like they kind of like it's like that thing. Like they need to know that they can provide for you, for their family, and you know, for themselves. But I think my biggest struggle is I needed to love myself first. Like there was this moment where I'm just like, I love you, but I'm not happy with me. Like how can I give you all of me? You know, I'm not trying to sound like John Legend,
man.
but you know, like how can I give you all of me if like, you know, I can't even give any of myself to myself. Like I just kept forgetting about my needs and what I needed to do, and you really do need to be a better version of yourself to make a relationship last, you know. And I think it finally just came to the point I'm like, all right, we can do this. And you know, sometimes you do have to compromise. I'm still not 100% where I'd like to be, but you know, everybody's like, oh, how's marriage? I'm like, I've been with her for it's almost 11 years. Like
nothing changes.
Nothing really changes. So but yeah,
was living together different or not really because she stayed a lot with you?
No, because I already kind of knew her ins and outs, you know. You know, like I said, it was 8 years already into the relationship where she moved into me, and I either spent a lot of time at her place or she spent a lot of time at my place. And I'm moving in at that time. No, I'd say if it was maybe like 2 or 3 years into the relationship, and like we moved in together, I'm like, I don't know right now, but yeah.
I think the loving yourself thing is so important. I think that is part of the problem right now.
Yeah.
Because I know my boyfriend's like kind of like has like a few aspects of his life that he's like not super excited about, and I know tough. Like he kind of was really proud of himself for like obtaining his condo, but like now that he's like renting it, he almost feels like he failed in a sense. But I'm telling him like, you know, most guys at 40 like can't even afford to buy their own condo by themselves. Yeah. I'm like, a lot of people who are doing it aren't doing it by themselves. Like they're married or they have a roommate or they have something. I'm like, but now, you know, like I always tell him, like, I have 2 jobs. Like, you don't have to worry about supporting me, you know, and I know he wants that. Like, he wants to be able to, but I'm like, you don't have to worry about that. I'm like, unless, God forbid, I have to go on disability or something like that. But, you know, so now he's like, oh, I have 2 jobs too. I was like, landlord and engineer. I was like, okay. You know, like, I got you. But, like, that's kind of what I wanted him to see is that, like, now you have this, like, business opportunity. Yeah. Like, and you were able to do that for yourself. So, like, you didn't fail, like, you know, you just have a new opportunity that, you know. But I think he's, like, slowly getting used to the fact that, like, okay, somebody else is living in my house right now. And, oh, look, I have an extra $1,000 a month. That's awesome. Yeah. So, but, you know.
Look, money helps at the end of the day.
Right.
You know, it definitely helps you make decisions a little faster, too.
Right. I'm hoping that, like, it all kind of comes together. But I definitely think that the fact that, like, he's unhappy about a few things, like, which I can't fix. Like, as a social worker, I know that I can't fix it. Like, the joke goes, how many social workers does it take to change a light bulb? And the joke ends with the light bulb has to want to change.
That's deep.
So
that's true though.
I know that he's gonna have to like want to change the things that he's like unhappy about. So, but it does make sense. Like exactly what you said when you said that. I was like, fuck. Yeah. I just have to sit here and wait.
Yeah. No, you don't. You don't need to wait. You need to
be patient.
Well, yeah.
He's like, no.
That's on both ends. Because even for me, I had to be patient too. Like, because I didn't want to sit in a relationship for 8 years and like get married. You know, like you know, I like I said, everybody has like they have this blueprint in life, right? You know, but sometimes you have to like you kind of have to throw that blueprint out or like look at a different kind of plan, you know, to get there. But in general, you know, you don't need to wait. You need to understand. I think communication is key.
But did you talk to your girlfriend about getting married?
Yeah.
Or did you never really talk?
No. We definitely spoke about it. We spoke about that, kids, this, that, and the other.
I feel like that's
never
the problem is that we don't really talk about it. I feel like when we talk about it, he feels like this overwhelming pressure and like doesn't want to talk about it because he feels like it's something he has to do now.
I think it's all about the approach. Like it's just about how do you bring this up, and women tend, you know, obviously, like, you know, I do have to understand that women do have a biological clock, and sometimes they also want to get married because they also want to have a kid, this, that, and the other, and I get that, but like, you know, if you are, you know, waiting a little bit, like, hey, you know, yeah, I want to get married too, but these are the reasons why. You really need to put those cards on the table and say, look, this is where I'm at, and I did literally tell her, like, I don't love myself. Like, that's just me being real. I don't love myself right now. And how do you expect me to love you if I'm not loving myself 100%? Like, doesn't mean I don't love you.
With that? Or did she just more?
No, because I also have I guess this comes to the Capricorn part. Maybe you can relate. at least me and my nature, I kind of need to dive into my own world by myself to kind of settle things.
God, if I had $1 for every time I heard that.
Yeah, well, it's definitely true. Like that's kind of like how I will ask friends and maybe certain family members for like opinions like that, but in general, I do need that.
He's like, can I just do this on my own, please?
Yeah. Sometimes, you just don't like. She's all about me 100% every day. This time, the other. I sometimes need to like. I need a wall for a second. Like I need to be alone or something like that to really think about things. And but that's okay. That doesn't mean you don't love the person. It's just like, hey, that's how I deal with things. You like almond milk, I like skim.
Okay.
There's no hate there,
Right.
It's different preferences, how you deal with things.
So like, is there like I think I saw like a survey of like when people feel like they should be married by or something?
Well, it wasn't necessarily a marriage thing. It was about more the moving in. But I'll talk about this. It was an article from Jezebel.com talking about how long should you date before moving in. Rent.com asked thousands of people without mortgages how long they hem and haw before making it official. What the hardest part of letting someone see you first thing in the morning really is, and how quickly you bail once the bloom is off the IKEA rose. Taken together, the results present some pretty reliable crowd wisdom. Look before you leap for about 6 months to a year, to be exact. 7% say should be less than 6 months. 37% say 6 months to a year. 29% say 1 year. 6% say 2 to 3 years. 3% say more than 3 years. And 18% say after marriage. This makes a lot of sense.
So do the Catholics.
This makes a lot of sense. There is a such thing as rushing, and there's a such thing as dragging your feet, and neither one makes sense for a good relationship momentum. You should know pretty well by 6 months or a year if things are going well enough to consider moving in. If you don't know by 2 or 3 years, then isn't that your answer? People move in together too quickly for all sorts of reasons, because they think they are in love, want to get revenge on their last boyfriend, become hopelessly attached to each other from the get-go, cough, codependency, cough, or probably all too often someone's lease is up, and why the hell not? Take the chance. Play Russian roulette of life and combine your silverware. This is why the site suggests spending full weeks at your mate's place with no breaks to test the waters of their grooming habits, late night TV preferences, aka porn use, whiskey snores, and so on. Can you handle it? Does it endear you to the person, or does it make you want to die? These are important questions. To be honest, though, I'm not sure you'll really find answers to these questions without moving in together first. You know how it sucks to try to get your first job because you need the experience to get the job, but you need the job to get experience. You need to live with someone to find out if they're really good for you. But you should supposedly already know if someone is already good for you before you move in. Moving in is a gamble, no matter how much you talk it out up front. In fact, it's the biggest, no big deal gamble short of marriage you can take. And if you want to play it right, it will be just as hard to divide your stuff when it ends as divorcing. That's when you know you're really a grown-up. Of course, the perks are wonderful, but you don't know that until you try it.
That was awesome.
So
I could have said it better myself.
Have you? I know in the episodes past that you've tried to have him stay like 3 or 4 days at a time. Have you tried to do that?
Yeah, we've been on vacation for like. We went to Florida for a week together. We went to Canada for like a couple days together. And then, like, usually he'll stay here, like, the remainder of the week. Like, we've been together for, like we've seen each other every day for, like, a week. Or, like, we've been at the house for, like, almost over a week. But, you know what it is? It's just not...
It's not the same, right?
It's not the same, really.
Yeah, because
you know what I mean?
The person has to be there.
Yeah, like, the other day, like, he didn't get here till, like, 1 o'clock in the morning because he was, like, cleaning in his apartment and stuff like that. And then, like, I was just kind of like, I don't have to wait up for you. Like, you have a key. Like, you're going to be moving in soon. Like, I don't have to, like... And, like, the dinner's on the stove. I made your lunch for you for tomorrow because he had work. I was like, there's leftovers. Put it away and figure out what you want to take for lunch. And I didn't know he was here until I woke up the next morning.
Wow.
So, I mean... He was like, you were snoring away. I was like, I was really tired. We didn't get here till like 1:30.
Yeah.
Like, he kept in contact with me and like told me like what was going on. He's like, oh, building fire sticks and stuff for somebody at work, and he was packing stuff. But I didn't like know he was here. And then like he went to work, came back. He went to work today. He'll come back later. I don't know if he's staying tonight or if he's gonna go home. That's gonna be the real test, because I don't think he has all of his clothes here yet. So. And that's the thing, like, even though he says, I'll be moving in, he packed all his stuff the other night, but he didn't, like, bring it here. And I was like, why didn't you bring it? And he's like, oh, I didn't want to make a lot of noise. The guy downstairs was complaining. And I'm like, are you that scared? Like, you know, but, like, the bed that, the other spare room he has at his house isn't, like, very comfortable. He had to sleep in it the other night when he was, like, rebuilding his bed or something. So, like, I know he's going to be here more. It's just, like, I feel like he's not ready to take the jump. But I don't know. I'm just kind of like letting him dip his feet in slowly.
Yeah.
But I know it's going to be like a change of atmosphere of him like taking the train over here to work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So how long? How long you guys been together now?
We met in February of this year. Will be 2 years.
Okay.
But we like moved super slow. Like I think it was like 3 months before we kissed. We said I love you after 6 months. I don't remember when we had sex. It was like a while. It was between the kissing and the I love you, or maybe after the I love you, and we don't remember. We don't have a real anniversary date either.
Okay.
We don't really know.
You can take April 1st. It's cool. It works. It works
Because like I remember like we went on our first date in like February, and then we didn't go on our second date again until like 2-3 weeks later.
Okay.
And then I went to Florida for a week, and then came back, and then we went to the botanical gardens at the end of April, and he said he knew then he loved me. And I was like, what? We were like on our third fucking date. Like, we talked every day.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't even know if you liked me. I legit went on the date like, I don't know if this is a date or not. Like, I don't know if he just likes hanging out with me. Because in my head, I wasn't sure if I should friend zone him because... like
friend zone.
Because like I didn't know if he liked me or not. Like he never like tried to give me a kiss or anything. Like he gave me like a hug goodbye. He like had come here and done the podcast with us. Like he didn't do it. His brother did it. You know, so I wasn't like really sure where his head was at, because he doesn't talk about like how he feels.
Right.
You know, he called me every day. He talked to me every day. Like, you know, he texted me like happy birthday and stuff like that. Like, because my birthday was like in between those times. Like, but it was weird, you know, like I didn't know where his head was. But apparently he's like, I knew then that I loved you. I was like, thanks for telling me.
Now,
but he didn't actually tell me until August, so. Do
you have a deadline?
Look, he's already like lost the deadline. My original.
Am I wrong for asking this?
No, you're not wrong, because she's already spoken about that. She's had several.
August.
You said August?
I said August.
Her initial...
The one that just passed.
Yeah.
So August 2017. Okay.
But then, like, you know, and he knew it was August. And then, like we said, the end of the year, you know, it's just slowly approaching. And,
okay.
like, he's making moves. Like, he is. And that's the thing. Like, as long as I see him doing something, like, he was getting the apartment.
You had a year.
Like, he was getting the apartment ready.
Yeah.
He was renting. Like, he now has an actual tenant who signed an actual lease. You know, like, my family came together and, like, helped him with all that. You know, we got him a lease. And, you know, the guy has a 6-month lease. And I think the guy might stay longer. We don't know.
Okay.
So now it's just a matter of him getting the second room ready. And, like, getting him to be comfortable to like be here,
right?
You know,
the last deadline that I have heard of was March, because she said it on the podcast a couple episodes ago.
Nice.
But I don't know if she's made
March
a new
2018.
One. Yes.
Is that for marriage?
Okay. No. Moving in.
Yeah, I think he'll be in here by the beginning of the year. Like, I think he will be. I think there'll be times where he has to like go home, or he might want to stay at the house because he's got to get up early and like paint and stuff like that. And I'm fine with that because, I don't know, 7 days a week of that snoring.
Yeah.
I mean, my parents sleep in separate bedrooms. I've said this 1,000 times on the podcast.
I can't wait for that day.
They are like still in love. Like, I don't know what they do freaky wise. I don't want to know. But they sleep in separate bedrooms, and like, you know, they're like 39 years strong. So
that's tough. That's good.
Let's go with that route. As soon as I kick that roommate out, at least like I can, like, if I can't sleep, I have someplace else to go. Oh, I just bought a new couch, so that's super comfortable.
But all these steps that you are taking, you do want to see marriage involved in this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
so this
and
isn't
like,
just like, all right.
I'm kind of like, I've said before, like, I'm kind of like, oh, if we have kids, we have kids. If we don't have kids, like, I'd like to adopt or something. But I have, like, a health condition. Like, my heart's deformed.
Okay.
So, like, that's also, like, a big thing. Like, I could probably do surrogacy, which my mom has so graciously volunteered to pay for.
Okay.
So it's, like, all that is, like, in the cards. But, like, I'm 38, so, like, I don't know. My doctor was like, oh, your ovaries might need help. So I'm like, okay. Like, so there's, like, a lot of things that, like, I don't want to disappoint him.
Correct.
Like, I don't want him to be like, okay, you're 40 now, I'm 41 or 2. And, like, now we can get married. And then it's like, okay, well, we don't really have kids now. Because
Right.
the risks are, like, too depressing to think about. So your sperm will work forever, but my eggs have an expiration date.
Yeah.
Like all eggs.
Well, can't you
And
freeze them?
Freeze it, yeah.
Yeah, but that costs money now. Like, if I'm not gonna do anything with them, like, I don't want to.
Oh,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that costs like a couple $1,000s, and it's not an easy process. The whole thing isn't an easy process.
Right. Yeah. No, I was
Like,
just
to
saying.
get them
Like, that was an
extracted,
option.
like, it's not like it's just like somebody can go in there and, like, you know, it's like a regular OB/GYN exam where they just take it out. Like, it's you gotta get shots in the ass or shots in the stomach.
Yes. My wife had to actually,
She did it?
We did IVF, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I know exactly what you're talking about. It's a long process.
Right. And it's a long process. It's exhausting and emotional for everyone.
Yes.
And it's something that I'm willing to do if, like, there's 2 people on board.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, like, if you're not even sure if you want to move in this week, like, I've already gone to the fertility doctor. I went to the OB/GYN. I asked the questions. Like, you need to go and ask the questions now. Like, or show up. I've done everything that I have to do up to the point where I was supposed to do it. Or you have to get on board with adoption.
Yep.
I'm on board with it.
Right.
There's children all across this freaking country that are
Need help, yeah.
being just abandoned at fire stations and or, you know, taken away by DIFUS. So.
True indeed.
Is he alright with it?
No.
He
Not really.
Because he wants his own.
I think
Right.
every man kind of does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, as a social worker, I just have that in me. Of course, I'd like a child that looks like both of us. Every time we see his mom's like, when are you guys having babies? I'm like, you just got out of church and don't you know
You're in your feelings.
don't you know the order? Like, we need to be married first, at least. And not because I'm religious, but because
Security.
yeah, like, you don't even know what you want to do about coming here for a week. So, like,
Don't. Yeah.
I think there's also
Don't listen to the parents.
No, yeah. I think that's also one of the reasons I ended up getting married. I also saw myself getting older. I'm like, you know, I do want to be a father. I'm like,
right.
Let's do this the way that, you know,
We're
I think it
supposed to
should
do
be.
it.
Yeah.
Let's do this how lovers do.
Correct.
I
Exactly.
mean, yeah,
Exactly.
there are people do it other ways, and that's fine. That works for them, but it's not for everybody. Some people want to do it like the traditional way.
Yeah.
And, you know.
She was okay with having kids without being married. I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, okay, I understand, like, but no.
When it comes to like insurance and everything else.
No. And also, wouldn't it been like you wouldn't have been able to come into the delivery room because you're not married? There's something.
That's a good.
There's something up because I know of an old boss of mine wanted they were already gonna get married. It was a foregone conclusion, but it was obviously he wanted to do it at the right time. Blah blah blah. But then when he got his girlfriend pregnant, he was like, yo, we need to get married soon because I know that, we need to get married before you deliver.
Okay.
Because he was talking about like they won't like let you, the dad in,
The father in,
because you're not, even though that's obviously you're a kid,
That's crazy.
they won't let you in because you're not Mr. whatever.
So
I
if
mean, you're not married.
So if I actually divorced my wife before the delivery date,
Technically. I don't know how that would go, but he was.
I feel like if you ask, you could have one person of like of any, like, they don't have to necessarily be family. I think if you say, "Can I have this person in with me?" You can.
Well, yeah,
I don't know.
but then that's you. You're saying I need blank to be here. And then they're like, all right, fine, that's no problem. But you can't be like, yo, let me come in. They're like, nah, who are you?
Right.
You know?
my sister definitely, she had my niece, and she wasn't married to my niece's father, and he was there.
Oh, what? I don't know.
But then again, she actually delivered in Philadelphia. I don't know if that's a law there, because my niece has heart conditions as well. She has HLHS, and then so she was done. Everything was done in Philadelphia. So I wonder if they had hyperplasty. It's basically the left ventricle didn't form correctly while in the womb.
Oh, FTGA.
So that's what her thing is. She had 3 operations. Yeah.
Does she have a 3-chambered heart?
No, she has all 4 chambers. Yeah.
Why didn't they give me my 4th chamber?
So she's at Children's Hospital Philadelphia. That was a place to go. But no, not to veer off it. But but at least that is interesting.
My friends who were married, like my friend who, like, last time she had a baby, she had 2, so, and like she had some complications, so she was gonna get what's that called? When you get fixed, ladies get fixed. Tube side.
Yeah.
They asked her husband. Her husband had to sign the papers and agree.
He didn't agree.
No, he did
He
agree,
did.
but like he had.
But she wanted that.
No, but she wanted it, and
Yeah.
and medically she should have, because if she got pregnant again, she might die.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't do the surgery without her husband's approval.
Oh. Wow. Even though she was like, do it, but
Right.
wow. Yeah.
Also, crazy fact about marriage, that I work for this family now. The woman was like abused, domestic violence wise.
Yeah.
And she was the breadwinner of the house, and she had 2 children, and I guess she basically took care of everything, but the husband never worked. Tell me why, even though she got her ass beat and has a restraining order against him, she has to give him $2,500 a month alimony.
Nice.
Damn.
No, that's crazy.
No, that's me being sarcastic. I don't think that's great at all.
Wow.
I guess that's a good reason why to be courteous, like,
Well, I guess
courteous about
because
marriage.
she's the breadwinner, so that's how
Right,
you.
she said he never worked. I'm like, why did you marry him in the first place?
That's the way that it goes. I mean, if it went the other way, I don't think anybody would be batting an eye.
Correct.
Right.
So
But I would just think that there should be some kind of clause that because I was the abuser.
Yeah. There should be something, but
you
it's
don't
not
have
like
to
it's
pay.
out of the ordinary, quote unquote. But
Right.
but the abuse thing does bring in a wrench to the whole thing. So
For sure.
I can understand if you're like, cautious about marriage for those reasons. Like, if we get divorced, I don't have to pay you alimony. But,
right.
at that point, you shouldn't be thinking that.
No.
Mm-hmm.
My boyfriend's kind of was just like, oh, he's like, we're getting prenups. I'm like, we can have prenups. I don't want your pension. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you never know.
I don't want his pension.
Not today.
Not ever.
But like 25 years from now,
Yeah.
I hate you.
Yeah.
You're a motherfucker. I can't wait to get your pension. You said 25 years ago on the podcast that you did not want it.
Good thing about technology. Don't
Don't worry, Martini will pull it up and be like, here you go, bro.
I got you.
Oh man.
That's funny. But yeah, there's just one last article about saying how long is too long to wait for marriage. This is from meetmindful.com. So it says, when you're young, this is actually what you guys were saying pretty much. So when you're young, you feel like time is limitless and you can squander it all you want. Then suddenly college and your 20s are gone, life gives you a reality check, and you may find yourself in a position where time is not on your side. And this is where things get complicated. You don't want to rush, but you think you found the one, and time keeps ticking by. So what should you do? Keep waiting, set a limit on how long you're willing to patiently wait, or ignore it altogether and ride it out? You see, it's a real dilemma. If you feel like you've found your match, it's up to you to discuss with your partner the ideal amount of time you are both comfortable waiting before taking the next big step. And maybe that step is living together first. As we get older, we have more life experience, we get wiser. At least that's what my dad keeps telling me. What I do know is that I've gotten older, I've learned more about myself and what I am or am not willing to accept, as well as what I want and don't want from a relationship. So be open and be honest with your partner about your feelings. Any partner worth their salt will respect your opinion, but just be sure to remain open to theirs. Some things are worth the wait, and others may require compromise. Maybe he is comfortable dating 3 years before considering marriage, or maybe you'd like to keep it no more than 2 years. Talk it over together. Share what's driving your desire to be married and listen to their perspective. And never give someone an ultimatum. Jennifer.
Dum, dum, dum.
That's a surefire way to cast a negative light on your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, who wants to force someone into being with them? I certainly don't.
Well said. I will say this about when I proposed to my wife. I already knew. So I proposed to her at 8.5 years. I already knew I'd say into the 5th year of our relationship that I wanted to marry her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least propose to her at that moment.
Right. You're right. Yes. Right.
Yeah. So I already knew, like, moving in and everything. Like, I was already working on, getting the ring together and all that stuff. So, but yeah, man, life is it definitely, pressure is tough. I don't know. It's whatever. It's already said and done. I'm already married now. But the whole process to that point, it was definitely it had a lot of ups, definitely a lot of downs as well. But I'd say communication is very, very important when people share different perspectives as to a timeline, as to when it's right and when it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any regrets
about being married?
Mm-hmm. About not being married. About
No, you know what? No, you're probably asking the wrong person. I don't live my life at all with any kind of regret.
That's good.
So I think things are meant to happen this way.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a learning process. That doesn't mean that days aren't hard. Life isn't hard. It still is. But I have no regrets about how things went down. Who knows if where I'd be if it had happened earlier.
Right.
You just don't know. So I'm happy with how everything kind of happened, but there has been a lot of tough times to get to that point.
Do you have any advice for Jennifer and her relationship and talking about him wanting to move in or the whole marriage thing? Because obviously she wants to get where you are at right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, do you have any advice to give her, say like, oh, calm down or whatever, or why he's taking so long? Because you took long, so maybe you can share some insight into what he might be thinking in his head or something like that, or just any advice.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of guess it's like what I said earlier. It's like you have to learn to communicate. If you're really having these thoughts, like oh, he keeps coming up with excuses. If you find yourself making excuses for him that he's never made evident to you, like if you're like assuming these are excuses or assuming this is his excuse, you really just need to get to the point like, look, this is where I'm at. Like, I do love you, I do see a future with you, but I also am at this point in my life. Like, you need to say, like, I'm at this point in my life, I can see myself with you. Right. I see myself marrying you, I can see myself, all that stuff. I need to know where you're at. Like, I literally need to know where you're at. Because we're not getting any younger. You're at a different point now where you're...
I feel like I've had these conversations with him. Like, I told him, like, I know you're my person. Like, there's not a doubt in my head. Like, which makes it so difficult to, like, walk away. Because, like, when you know this person's your person and they're not, like, on your page, like, it's kind of... It's hurtful a little bit. Like, I asked him a couple weeks ago, I was like, do you even want to marry me? And he was like, I don't know. And I got so upset. And he was just like, no, you're taking it the wrong way. He's like, I'm just not ready. Like, I'm scared. And then he, like, went into all, like, his fears and stuff like that. And it's like, well, fuck. Like, but he doesn't want me to leave either. You know what I mean? Like...
Well, sometimes it also becomes about, you got to make sure that you're also just not both living in a comfortable zone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's usually not good either. And, yeah, you definitely need to communicate yourself with him. And it's like I said, you need to find out, one, if you love yourself enough to love him the way he needs to be loved, and you need to ask him, does he love himself enough to love you the way you need to be loved?
And the answer right now is no, right? I don't think so.
And you can't, you shouldn't sit there and like, you can't. Like, you just need to say, hey, I love you, you're my person, but guess what? There's a lot of other persons out there.
Right. That's
I mean, it's true. Like, we can't live our lives for other people either. Like, you
like
need
right
to
now
learn.
I want to like give him a chance to like move in and like see that things are going to be okay. But maybe that's why I said March, like, because if he moves in, within this month and then March comes around and like he still has all these doubts and everything else, like then it's kind of like, all right, then maybe you should just go back to your house because like I can't convince you anymore that this is going to be okay.
Right.
Like I'm hoping that by living together he kind of gets a sense of comfort that we're going to be okay.
Yeah. I mean,
but
again,
at the same time,
he's doing all the steps to get there. So that's good. So I think, I don't think you need to worry about that deadline, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure he'll move in by March, but like I'm like, as far as like him still having all these like fears and like, you know, being apprehensive about it, like I'm gonna give him some time to like realize like, okay, we're surviving this, like we're not gonna kill each other, things are gonna be okay. You know, like he thinks that couples shouldn't fight, but I like tell him that everyone fights.
Yeah, you do. Men definitely don't like, at least I think men don't like to argue as much as women do.
No, not at all.
Like,
he
try to
he
avoid
hates
it.
conflict. Like,
yeah, I don't think any of us like it.
I don't know if that fear is ever gonna go away though, but I don't think that it should. Look at it the other way. Just because you're confident doesn't mean it's gonna work either.
Right, but
it cannot
I
work
need you
just
to be,
because it
I
won't
need you
work.
to be bigger than
Wait,
your
the
fears.
fear of what? I'm sorry.
No,
Failing.
well, for him, the fear of failing, the fear of, because one of his big things was like, okay, what if I move in with you and it doesn't work out, right? Well, this was before the whole tenant thing. So let's say if he moves in and it doesn't work out. To me, this is how I look at it. She's still good because this is her house.
Right.
He's asked out because now he has no house no more.
Correct.
So it's like, fuck, where am I gonna go? Great, I'm gonna go back to my mom's. Now I'm 12.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what he's thinking about. And she's like, why are you even thinking that way? Which is true, but at the same time, he's the one who's putting himself out there.
Yeah.
You know, he's the one who has most to lose.
Right.
So he's like, fuck, he's not gonna be, and one, he's never gonna get this, but he's asking for 100% proof that this will work.
Yeah.
You're never going to get that, which is why I understand when you're saying, yo, you need to go. You just need to do it. Mm-hmm. You know, like, let's go. You just need to do it because there's no 100% guarantee, and that's what he's looking for. Yeah. And he shouldn't be looking for that, even though I understand why he's looking for that.
Correct.
So
I get it.
It definitely has to feel generic. Like, if he's gonna move in, definitely don't have him move in under pressure, because it's like what he read in that little article that he just read. Like, you know, you can't pressure any situation.
He's doing it on his own timeline at this point.
You know.
I mean, I'm not pressuring him, but like,
no, I'm not saying you're pressuring. Just make sure that he's not doing it. Because sometimes you as a female don't even need to pressure the guy.
Right.
Sometimes he feels pressure on his own.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like don't think that only women create pressure. Like, no, we create pressure on ourselves as well. Yeah. Like, without a doubt.
which is why this fear is coming
Correct.
on, because he already knows. You wouldn't need to say another word about marriage, babies, nothing. But that's in his mind because he knows that you want it and you haven't gotten it yet. Yep. So he's like, fuck, I need to freaking do this shit. I need to do this shit. And you're like, hey, babe, do you want anything to eat? I don't want anything to eat, damn it. You know, like, I'm thinking about us and our future. And you're like, okay, I didn't bring anything up. But you know what I mean? So it's on his head 24/7.
Without a doubt.
So he's just trying to figure out, all right, shit, how am I going to do this? 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 And yeah, that's all on him. The pressure's all on him. And hopefully this is good that he is kind of doing it on his timeline, but also respecting yours, because with the whole, okay, the person has a lease now, I'm going to leave my bag of stuff here to kind of prove to you that, hey, I really want to do this, because he's saying it. Because to me, it doesn't seem like he's like, all right, here's my freaking bag. You happy now? Well, what the, you know? Yeah. So that's good that it's not that way, that he's doing it that way. So.
Right.
But you said that where he lives, it's a three bedroom. It's
a 3-bedroom condo.
3-bedroom condo, and he has 2 rooms rented out.
Well, he has one rented out. One he's gonna one which was like his man cave room. Mm-hmm. He's gonna start packing it up and like. So
why doesn't? I mean, can he survive with like renting out those 2 rooms and still living with you?
Yeah. He
like
can.
as kind of like, you know, like, hey, let's try this out.
Yeah.
Move
he can.
here, keep one of your rooms, you know.
And he's gonna like keep the 3rd room, I guess, kind of for like storage or like if shit went down. I'm assuming.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So he does have something to fall back on.
Right.
Is,
like,
you know,
if he rents the 2 rooms, it would be like his entire mortgage plus some, so he can pocket some money and pay his entire mortgage. And he's renting it with like all utilities included. Okay. So he's kind of like making it like a boarding house type situation. Mm-hmm. But like the tenant he has in there now is like an older guy, so he didn't want like a frat situation.
Yeah, for sure.
So he's really comfortable with it. He's really happy about the tenant now. And like I think he feels good that he kind of like did it on his own in a way, and kind of like it's all working out. Okay. So now it's just a matter of like him getting the other room ready and finding somebody else. Yeah, and he is starting to like, you know, he fixed up the closet in the other room or whatever, and he's just got to kind of get his stuff out of there. Yeah. Because he's a little bit of a hoarder. Sorry, he's a collector of fine electronics.
Yeah, that's okay. Electronics is good. It's better than knickknacks.
Yeah.
No, it's like.
Well, you like electronics.
I know. I went into his like room and I was like, "Oh my god, you have 2 more turntables in here?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's a funny story." I was like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "They're going on eBay, babe. Don't worry." I'm like, "Mm-hmm." I was like, "You can bring them to my house and like set them up." No, I don't want to bring all my shit there.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the situation is less dire than it sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, you already gave him until March. That's good. So he has until August 2018. Let's keep it real.
I know. I feel bad. Like some mornings I wake up and I'm like, ugh, I can't do this. This is not gonna happen. And then I'm just like, because now things are starting to move. So. Yeah. But we'll see.
Look, at the end of the day, if you guys still know how to make each other laugh, even amongst all the pressures and thoughts that you have on the side. Yeah. If you guys can still hang out with each other and you still like, all right, even though you're a douche and you're not exactly. moving in or I'm thinking all these things, you still make me laugh. You still make me happy in different ways. Then there's something still credible there in that relationship.
That's not the end game.
Right.
The end game is to be happy and to have somebody who you can enjoy and who you get along with and makes you laugh and you can make laugh, and somebody who has your back, and you know, everything else is just extra.
That's what I've been trying to tell her, to like enjoy the journey.
Correct.
You know, like stop trying to get to the destination.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what my fear is. Because I feel that.
Yeah, but we're having a good time lost in the woods. I mean, like.
No, but I'm just saying. No, but I mean, I don't want you to focus on the destination, because how about if you don't like it?
Yeah.
Now you missed the whole point.
No, I mean, we're having a great time.
No, and that's good.
And that's good. That's important. It really is important.
Good. Then good. You have a good time going nowhere. That's the point, because then it doesn't quote unquote feel like a waste.
Yeah. Right.
You know, so
yeah. That's true. Pressure and everything else sucks now. Then that's you just need to stop it now. But if you have things that you're happy about, like, you know, you guys do complete each other in different kind of ways, then go for it.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, socialize, talk, learn how to conversate. I think it's.
I'm great at it.
Yeah. But you need to get him to be. You need to get him to get good at it too.
The struggle.
You know, and he has to be willing to do that as well.
True.
Because
I thank you, Ricardo. You were very insightful.
I hope so. I hope so.
Do we have a song of the episode?
Damn it, Martini! I forgot we're doing that still.
All right. No, we don't have to do that ever again.
No, I want to.
Oh, okay.
But I am. Do
you want me to?
Yeah, do something else.
Shield the social media stuff.
Find anything.
All right, cool. Well, thank you guys for listening to us on. Thank you for listening to us on Podbean, iTunes, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, and Google Play Music. Please rate, review, like, and subscribe to us on any of the devices that you listen to. And if you have any advice to give to Jennifer or Ricardo or even myself, because, you know, my love life sucks. So
they all suck. So trust me. There's no such thing as a perfect love life.
So we asked the question to you. How long is too long to move forward, or do you think everybody is different? You know, what's going on? So email us at bedlovebeyond@gmail.com. You can go to our website at www.bedlovebeyond.com. You can call or text us at 201-862-8BED. That is 201-862-8233. You can hit us up on Facebook and talk to our fans at facebook.com/bedlovebeyond. And you can also follow us at bedlovebeyond on Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, and YouTube. Also, please go to our website, bedlovebeyond.com, and you can reread Jennifer's blog to fall in or fall out, because that has to do with today's episode. And also I wrote something recently, well, not recently anymore by the time you listen to this podcast, but I've written something on there that I want to get off my chest. And also you'll probably find something new on there by the time you get to this episode, because I'm writing something as we speak. So there.
So the song of the day is the Bee Gees' Living Together.
Nice.
Okay.
And the hook goes, I'm not going to sing it. Why ain't we living together, instead of being so far apart?
There you go.
How deep is your love?
Oh, snap. Cisco. Also, if you guys are watching She's Gotta Have It on Netflix, I want to discuss that maybe next time.
Okay.
So.
Just the show in itself, or something?
Just like the whole thing.
Okay.
Check it out on Netflix. She's Gotta Have It. It's a Spike Lee joint. Now it's a series based off the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Nola is the main character. And Nola does what she wants. Nola was like me when I was 29.
Okay.
I love her.
What is also on Netflix, Jennifer?
I don't know. What is also on Netflix, Martini?
The Real Side Chicks of Charlotte.
Oh my god.
They signed a deal.
Yes, it's coming to Netflix. I don't think it's there yet.
Oh right, well yeah, it's coming to Netflix. I forget when they had a release date or something like that, but I forget.
Remember we interviewed them.
Yeah, we interviewed them on episode 71. Yes, episode 71. So you can listen to them again. You know, before they got famous. Yeah, we got to them first. And what? Yeah, you know. So what's going on? Real Side Chicks of Charlotte. What's going on? We will definitely watch the show and see all the ratchetness that happens. But yeah. So thank you, Ricardo, for being on the show, man.
Thank you for having me. More than happy to come back whenever you guys.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and
you can come back in March and we'll give you an update.
Nice. I'm down.
And if you have any topics that you would like to discuss and say, you know what, maybe that'd be good for Bed Love Beyond, please, give it to us and you can come on the show.
You got it. That sounds like a plan.
All right. I am Martini.
I'm still Jen.
All right, and we'll see you guys next time.